Hey guys, Unfrequented World, and today I'm out in the garage going through metal detecting finds. I get asked all the time, what is your coolest find? Well, I don't just have one, I have a few. And today I'm going to show you guys what are my favorite and what are my most valuable metal detecting finds. First off, I've got a whole tub of 1930s and before bottles. A lot of this stuff I actually just started keeping in the last year. So quite a bit this spring, a little bit last fall. I've left more bottles in the bush than I know what to do with, guys. There's probably about $400 worth of bottles in here. All kinds of old medicine stuff, 1800s bottles in here. I got a couple little ones. We're not going to get into too in-depth with these, but I'll just show you. That's an 1880s bottle right there. All kinds of old bottles to start with. Everything in this book has been metal detected. Every coin in here. I've got large cents. Most of these are Canadian. Obviously, I live in Canada. So, these were made from like 1885 to 1920, I think, the Canada large cents. Then we get all the regular coins, 1930s, Canada 1 cents. Probably a couple 1920s in there as well. The old Canada 5 cent, they're called fish scale, 1907. I have no idea, I can't read the dates. They're all early 1900s. Silver coins, probably worth about 20 bucks each, something like that. This whole book is full of them. Everything I've dug here. That's actually an American nickel up here, 1905. Just found that this year in one of our spring hunts. Lots of old. There is American coins here too, if you look. That 1926, Lady Liberty right there. So lots of old silver, lots of coins, 30s and 40s, dimes. These are my one of my favorite coins, the old Canada quarters. We just found this on the last adventure. My oldest coin ever, 1874. I say that because it's the oldest coin that I can read the date. I have one that I think is even older, but no clue what the date is on it. And my only $100 coin. Too bad it's Mexican. Some tokens that we found, aluminum. 19 probably 30s, both of these, good for groceries and gas tokens. A 1902 Gurney's double coin. That's a strange one, how that ended up in Canada, no idea. And then my only other foreign coin, that's British sixpence. Also like 80% silver, I think, something like that. So all the coins in this book, there's probably, I don't know, 60 coins, something like that, I don't know. Maybe more, have all been metal detected. I've also got a couple older ones that don't fit in there. Inauguration coin, 1952 or 53, I think. And then this one is like an Olympic, Canadian Olympic Coca-Cola coin. And I had another one that I gave away to my brother-in-law. It was the town that he was born in. It was like a commemorative coin from the year he was born. What are the chances, right? So he took that one. I have a jar full of pennies. Go back right to their old crusty ones, 1920s, 30s and up. Everything in here, right to modern. I don't know, there's got to be, I don't know, $30, $40 in pennies. And I actually got rid of all my clad. I had another jar, one of these right full of clad, but I bought coffee for a year using the clad. This is my mixed mash of weird finds. I've got everything from toys, junk rings, old forks and spoons, silver, Canadian Tire money that I found lying on the surface, pottery, bits of anything and everything that's cool. Some really old shells, silver-plated salt shaker in there. This is like more modern stuff. Pocket knives. So just to show you what's in the jar, there's all kinds of stuff in there, guys. I mean, I've got Avon rings and I don't know, all kinds of things. And there could be anything from jets and cars to old lids, smiley face bottle caps, fishing lures, all kinds of stuff that's not really worth anything, but stuff that I thought was cool enough that we should actually bring it home and throw in the hoard. Then we get on to the good stuff. This is all the colonial. This stuff is the history, the money, the exciting stuff. So Stan and I found 2 of these locks in our last adventure. He kept one, he gave me one. I found the key for his lock. Those are quite a bit. They go anywhere from $100 to $300 on eBay, depending on the make and model. I'm not sure, I didn't look these ones up, but I'm guesstimating this is around $100 on eBay. I also found, if you guys watched this season, raw silver samples. Each one of these is a specimen sample. That's raw silver. And I haven't cleaned them, I'm not going to. We suspect these were stolen from the mines north of here, 100 years ago. There was quite a bit of thievery, and we actually documented that in one of the videos. These are worth anywhere from $80 to $150 each. If you just weigh the silver, there's 4.2 ounces, I believe, for these 4 pieces. That's about $80 some worth of raw silver, but each one of these as a specimen sample will go between $80 and $150, so quite a bit of value right there. And then I found this one after, which has a big chunk of silver right in the middle. This could be worth $500 or $600, guys, because it's very strange. It's a very collectible piece. So again, that was this year's finds. That is my best haul in one day in terms of treasure. Okay, and I don't even know the value. I just put the value down as $80 each for these in my book, but they could be worth a lot more. We've got so much good stuff in here, guys. What I want to show you is there's one piece that I want to start with that I think kind of flies under the radar. And I've got one of them here. This is a really old, 250, 300-year-old cufflink. We found this at a colonial site, a fort, British Redcoat Fort. And that's one of the plain Jane ones right there. That's what most of the soldiers would wear, okay? I have no idea what the value of that is. Nobody's finding stuff like this in Canada. So it's very hard to figure out a price on that. But whatever that is worth, it, in terms of history, it's a great find, but it's just very plain. I found this, a hand-painted glass-covered version. So it's a cufflink as well. I had some guys online telling me they think it's French. Pinky purple, hand-painted, again, 300 years old, in that range, 250, 300 years old. No idea what the value of that is, but one of my coolest history finds ever. It's right up there with another one of my favorites, which turned out to not be real, but I'm going to show you it anyway. That right there, my friends, is a 300-year-old diamond setting. Now, I thought this was an earring, but upon further review and research, we found an article that showed this exact setting, and this little thing had a loop on the back. It would be attached to men's clothing. It was all the fashion up until the 1850s for men to attach bling like this directly to their clothes. And some of the settings in the article that I found were identical to this. And they were up to the 1840s, I think, 1850s. And again, we found this at our colonial site. So really old, really cool find. I was hoping it was going to be a real diamond, but I mean, how many guys can say that they found something that old and that cool? Not too many. 300-year-old British Redcoat soldier pocket knives. I've got 2 of them. Unfortunately, when you pull some of this stuff out of the ground and the air gets to it after it's being buried for hundreds of years, it really starts to corrode, and that's what's happened to these 2 guys here. So they're literally falling apart on me, but they were a really cool find. Super fancy 250, 300-year-old, again, colonial button. Again, people have told me it almost looks French in design, but I can't verify that. Single solid piece on the back, solid shank with a drilled hole in it, and was probably silver plated. These here, I believed at the time when I found them that they were trade arrows from the English for the natives. We had found some other ones, and it never really dawned on me when I pulled these out of the ground. They're different. These are copper. These are green, and you can see there's copper underneath where, for example, where this one here has been scratched at the bottom. It's hard to see on the camera. Definitely made out of copper. Nothing like the trade arrows we found at our colonial site. These were within half a kilometer of that site, but they're completely different. I think these could be much older, 400, 500, 600 years old, and they would have come from, there was places the natives had down in the states, the northern states, where they were mining copper and making copper arrowheads. And I believe that that's what these are, but that has yet to be determined because I'm not an expert on arrowheads. Some more 300-year-old finds, trade goods. We think that they would have been trading with the natives. So this ring here, I could not identify it. It does have writing on it. I forget what it says, but again, it's probably something they would have traded. This here is called a jangle bead. They would have sold these to the women, the native women, and they would have tied these on their dress to make them jingle and jangle when they danced. So, trade goods. Really cool old finds. One of my coolest finds ever was a colonial English axe head. Again, 300 years old, but I pulled it out of the swamp and it was down in the peat moss. I actually made some news on that one. I was featured on a few different sites for that. Some guys didn't believe I actually found that because it was pristine. When I pulled it out, the air could not get to it and it looked like it fell out of the canoe yesterday. Maker's marks on it, I think there were 3. And I gave it to Stan because he's a real collector and he likes to put shafts and handles on all these old things that we find and fix them up and restore them. Now that it's been out of the peat moss, you can see it's starting to oxidize a little bit. He showed it to me there a couple months back. It's dried out like a lot of these goods, so we're going to have to get him to finish restoring that. But that was one of my greatest finds. In terms of other axe heads, again, I give them to Stan, I give them away, I leave them in the bush, and apparently some of these, we're finding old ones. French, 300-year-old, Stan's got a few. I know people say these are worth $200-300. I don't do this for the money. I don't sell stuff on eBay. I've left axe heads in the bush, guys. I hate to say it, but I have. In the future, any of the old, cool, the really old ones, I'm definitely going to bring out with me. But some days we find 4, 5, or 6 of these in a day. And I just can't carry that much stuff around. So I've been leaving them. I haven't been great, but it's true. All of the finds, they're on the videos on the channel, guys. You'll see me pull them out, and you'll never see them again because I probably left them there or gave them away. Oh, yeah, I feel it. That's an axe. Oh, look at the condition of that. Not even rusted. Down in there, 14 inches under the swamp where no oxygen could get to it. Look at that. Here I have 2 gold buttons, officer's buttons. This one here is treble plated gold. And I found that shoulder deep in the swamp. Great video that day. I went somewhere nobody was going to go, and that's in the most disgusting swamp ever. And about 5 feet away, a week later, I found this second button. Different shank. Both gold plated. Oh, there goes my other boot full of water. Jeez. Okay, I got it. Oh, yes! Look at that! It's another a gold button. But I think my favorite button of all time is this one here. This was found 11 or 12 inches, if I remember correctly, in the ground under an 8-inch round root, with part of the root growing directly through the button. And it is old. I know because I actually found it on an old button site, and I dated that button to 1791. And that's silver, guys. I've also found a whole hoard of Canadian military buttons, World War I and a World War II badge. This badge is from the 230th Brigade out of Ottawa. And in pristine condition, these things can fetch a couple $100. So mine might be worth $100, I don't know. But history value, again, what was it doing here out in a Nipissing field, you know? To me, it's all about the history. Like I said, I don't sell any of my finds, so I like to try to puzzle out how did it get here and then just end up discarded in a field. Old shotgun shell that somebody turned into a whistle. Found that on one of the railroad stations that we detected. 1880s. That's when that would have been created. I also find all kinds of fancy bling. I think that piece there is a watch piece on the bottom. This is some kind of sash or belt clasp. Both of those pieces fit together. We've got a gold earring. We've got a silver earring. And a piece of I don't know what. But I find all kinds of this stuff right back early 1900s. And these two might even be older. I have actually found a couple real rings. 2 gold and 2 silver. But I gave those away to friends and family members. This one here actually is silver too. I don't know why it hasn't been given away yet, but it's just here waiting for a finger that it fits. They're pretty small. It's like a little kid's ring, that one. How about a jumping trout with an emerald eye and diamonds for scales? And I never did test those little diamonds. I don't think they're real, but you never know. Sometimes a mystery is better left unsolved. You ever find a shotgun shell that big? Me either. Only once. And I still don't know what that is. That's old, that's heavy. Man, you wouldn't want to carry a pocket full of those around. Religious medallions, I find them all the time. So I've got a couple here, and then in my other jar back here, I've got another 3 or 4. And I had a silver one, which I actually just gave to my mom last night. She came over for dinner, and we were looking through all my finds, and that's kind of what inspired today's video. And she's very religious, my mom. She saw a nice little silver, something very similar to that piece there. And I cleaned it up and gave it to her last night. Told her, just take it home and wear it. And that's what I do with my good stuff, guys. I give it away to people I love. I will never make money from this hobby because I'm not interested in selling anything. I don't know. I'd prefer to find something, and if I can give it away and somebody will actually use it or wear it, hey, it's yours. My plan is to bury every bit of this stuff, bottles, even the chunks of silver, everything. Someday, I'm going to bury this in a field somewhere so that somebody's going to find it in 500 years, and they'll have my treasure hoard. Everything you're looking at here, and over here are all on the channel. Every bit of this you guys can find, and you'll see me digging up. In terms of my favorite things, the most valuable things, has to be this set over here, the military stuff, and then all of these things which I took the time to show you guys individually, some of the older colonial stuff, the chunks of silver, and then my coin book. Obviously those are my most valuable and probably the things that I'm happiest to find because they have the most history that go with them as well. And there you have it, guys. A look at Gary's 4-year treasure hoard of metal detecting goodies. The good stuff, the cheap stuff, the fun stuff. That's it. That's what I've amassed, guys. Thanks for joining me. Stay tuned. I'll be out in the field again later this week.